Okay, let's 10, 9, 8. Gwe Agpijlazi, hello and welcome to the beautiful Susan McEachern Memorial Ballpark in beautiful Sydney, Nova Scotia, part of the Cape Breton Regional Municipality. My name is Michael Petter. This is Petter Sports and Streaming Services, and today on AOTV we have for you the second game of the 2022 Baseball Canada Men's National Championships between the visiting team, the Dartmouth Mooseheads, and the home team for this game, the Charlottetown Islanders. Islanders made these semifinals by virtue of a 3-0 record in the round-robin pool play and advanced directly to the semis. For Dartmouth, it was a little bit of a longer road for them to get here. They went 1-2 in pool play, finished second by virtue of the tiebreaker for defensive run ratio, and then won their quarterfinal game last night as they had to go through that extra round, that extra game. The quarterfinal last night, they were able to beat they beat St. John's by a score of 3-0 to advance to this game. As we're ready to get underway, Cody Schreider, the center fielder, will lead things off as the game is underway, and the first pitch from Schreider grounded down to shortstop. The throw across ends up pulling the first baseman off of the bag, and so the first runner of the ball game is on base, with Cody Schreider reaching by way of that throwing error. That'll bring up Chris Thibodeau. Unlike the other semifinal we had earlier this morning, these teams did not meet in pool play. So this is the first game against each other at this event. Chris Thibodeau, the shortstop, standing in. He's batting second. Taking a look at the rest of the batting order for Dartmouth, batting third, it'll be the first baseman, Ty Doucette. In the cleanup spot, the second baseman, Anthony McKinley. Batting fifth, Colby Turple, the right fielder. As that one launched way up high into the air in shallow left center field, and over to get underneath the ball and make the catch is Taylor Larkin for the first out of inning number 1. After Colby Turple, the fifth batter, it'll be the third baseman, Jalen Trider, batting sixth. Jack Fader, the left fielder, will bat seventh. Catcher Dan Comeau bats 8th, and the DH Cam Ritzy batting 9th. And all of that in support of Jeff Reeves, the starting pitcher for the Mooseheads here this afternoon. And we'll take a look at the defense for the Charlottetown Goody Auto Body Islanders. Defensively from left to right in the outfield, it's Grant Grady, Taylor Larkin, and Josh Myers. The infield, left side is third baseman Mark Phillips and shortstop Logan McDougall. On the right side of the infield, second baseman Justin Cormier and Blake Gallagher at first, and that one launched to deep right center field, and a 2-run home run for Ty Doucette. And just like that, the Mooseheads out to a 2-0 lead. The big blast from Doucette puts the Mooseheads on the board early. The rest of the defense for Charlottetown, Logan Gallant behind the plate, and starting pitcher Jordan Stevenson, who just gave up that big blast to Doucette. That brings up Anthony McKinley. And McKinley swings through the first pitch for a 1-0-1 count. And Now coming up to bat is Colby Turple. As having a couple of technical issues here in the booth, just bear with me. Turple takes a strike. And it's now 1-1 the count. Sorry folks, I'm just dealing with some tech issues here. My laptop is fighting with me a little. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that does it for the first inning. But there were 2 runs on 1 hit and 1 error. No runners left on base. We've played half an inning, and the Dartmouth Mooseheads with the 2-0 lead over the Charlottetown Islanders. And taking a look at the batting order for the Islanders, leading off it'll be the second baseman Justin Cormier, batting second the DH Ryan McIsaac, batting third playing short Logan McDougall. 4, 5, and 6 is the third baseman Mark Phillips, left fielder Grant Grady, and first baseman Blake Gallagher. Then the bottom third of the order, batting 7th, Logan Gallant, the catcher, Josh Myers, the right fielder, and Taylor Larkin, the center fielder. And all of those batters will be looking to put up some runs in support of Jordan Stevenson, their starting pitcher, who's behind 2-0 in the early going. Defensively for Dartmouth, looking very much the same as they have for much of this tournament, as the outfield is Jack Fader in left, Cody Schreider in center, Colby Turple in right. Around the infield, it's Jalen Trider playing third base, Chris Thibodeau at short, Anthony McKinley at second, and Ty Doucette manning first, while Dan Comeau's behind the plate to catch the pitches, coming from right-hander Jeff Reeves. And just to... Okay, so McKinley was a ground out back to the pitcher that I missed because I was looking down trying to get something else dealt with. There we go. I think we got her all squared away now. All right, so Justin Cormier leading off. Grounder to second, knocked down there nicely by McKinley. Gets up, makes the throw to Doucette. And it's quickly 1 up, 1 down here in the bottom of the first inning. That'll bring up Ryan McIsaac, the designated hitter. Dartmouth in their road blacks with the white numbers, the gray wording of Dartmouth across the front. The Islanders in a light gray or a beige jersey with white numbers. Not a whole lot of contrast on those numbers to be able to see. Fortunately, with batting orders and whatnot, you kind of know who's who. If I was seeing those jerseys at a hockey game, though, I'd be mortified. 2-0 the count here on McIsaac. Fouls that one back, and the count goes 2-1. I know my wife mocks me sometimes for being the fashion police of the sports world, but doing play-by-play, one of the most important things you need in a jersey is contrast, and not much of that, unfortunately, in these ones for the Islanders. That pitch misses. The count goes to 3-1. And here comes the 3-1 delivery. And McIsaac not able to hold up. So the count goes full 3-2. He thought he held up enough and was starting to head his way down to first base, and the home plate umpire says, no, no, no. You swung. Oh my goodness. It's Sunday afternoon of a long weekend of great baseball, folks. Way up high on the right side of the infield, Doucette over to make the catch. He was calling it the whole way and given plenty of space to make that catch. That'll bring up Logan McDougall, the shortstop. 2 up, 2 down so far for the Islanders. As pitcher Jeff Reeves settles in. First pitch to McDougall, misses outside, 1-0. Here comes the 1-0 from Reeves. And another pitch misses just a bit down and away, and it's 2-0. Here comes the delivery. Swung on and missed. And it goes to 2-1. Dartmouth, as mentioned, had to play the quarterfinal last night. They beat St. John's by a score of 3-0. They got to the quarterfinal by finishing the round robin 1-2. They lost their opening game 1-0 to the Elmwood Giants. They bounced back, or they then lost their second game to Windsor by a score of 5-3. Bounced back with a 5-1 victory over Edmonton, the Edmonton Cubs, in their final pool play game. That one batted through the left side of the infield for a single. That'll bring up Mark Phillips, the third baseman. So with that 1-2 record, they finished in a 3-way tie for second, third, and fourth in their pool. Edmonton, Elmwood, and Dartmouth all at 1-2. So the tiebreaker was defensive run ratio and only involving the games between the tied teams. So because they only gave up 1 run to Edmonton and only gave up 1 run to Elmwood, they had the best defensive ratio out of the 3 teams, as that one's fouled out of play on the first base side. So they got second in the group, and that's how they were put into the quarterfinal against the third place team from the other pool, the St. John's Capitals. Won that game 3-0, so now are on a 2-game winning streak coming into this semifinal against a Islander team that is now on a 3-game winning streak, as they went through pool play undefeated. They beat the British Columbia-based Kamloops Sun Devils 10-0. Then they beat the host team, the Sydney Sooners, 1-0. And then they beat the St. John's Capitals 5-0. And yes, nothing, and nothing. They have not given up a run until today. Those 2 runs in the top of the first inning, the first runs that have been scored on them this weekend. And Dartmouth right now has all of the momentum on their side. And yes, they had to play an extra game that Charlottetown didn't. For Charlottetown, this is just their 4th game. Dartmouth, their 5th, because they had to go through the quarterfinals. But I think that extra game right now has given them the extra momentum, and the 2-2 count here on Phillips. The Islanders have not been on the field since the 9:30 games yesterday morning. Or sorry, it was a 12:30 game yesterday afternoon. And there's a third strike for the strikeout. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on base. We've played 1 complete. and it is 2-0 for the Dartmouth Mooseheads. We'll head to the top of the second, due up in the top of the second. It'll be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, Jalen Trider, Jack Fader, and Dan Como. And we like to once again acknowledge the beautiful facility that we are playing in here this weekend, the Susan McEachern Memorial Ballpark, named for Susan McEachern, the wife of Sydney Sooners head coach and general manager and general all-around man of many hats, Jim McEachern. And you see there the logo, the daffodil, that's painted right into the incredibly well set artificial surface here on the infield of this field, and then the outfield is natural grass along with the foul territory. And then you can also see the scoreboard there with the daffodils on that as well. The daffodil, of course, is the official emblem of the Canadian Cancer Society, which took Susan's life back in 1995. Time to look at the top of the second inning. Jalen Trider leading things off for the Dartmouth Mooseheads. So Trider steps in for his first plate appearance of this game. As mentioned, Dartmouth doing something that nobody else has done in this tournament, getting runs off of PEI pitching. The team, depending on where you look, this team has different, goes by different names. In some places it's listed as the PEI Goody Auto Body Islanders. Other places it's listed as the Charlottetown Goody Auto Body Islanders. And of course, in the schedule, there's a looping liner that McDougall able to come in and make the catch for the first out of the inning. And of course, on the Baseball Canada schedule, they're listed as Team New Brunswick because the PEI or Charlottetown Goody Auto Body Islanders won the New Brunswick Senior Baseball League Championship. So they are the representatives of the league that is based out of New Brunswick, but of course they are from Prince Edward Island. So we've got all three maritime provinces covered here. You got Dartmouth out of the HRM in Nova Scotia, and you've got Charlottetown PEI representing New Brunswick. So we're going to call this the unofficial Maritime Championship game. And it is also the national semi-final where the Windsor Stars await the winner. Windsor defeating Elmwood 11-1 earlier this morning. As Fader fouls off another one, the count remains 0-2. The Windsor Stars able to get the 10-run rule on Elmwood with the 11-1 win in 6 innings. So Elmwood will be playing at 4 o'clock in the bronze medal game. Windsor will get the winner of this one in the championship game at 7:30 tonight. It is a hot, humid day here in Sydney, and a hot pitch from Stevenson strikes out Fader. That's the second K for Jordan Stevenson here this afternoon. That'll bring up Dan Como. Como, the catcher for the Mooseheads. The right-handed hitting catcher with the knee-high socks and the old-school short ball pants takes a strike, and the count 0-1. The 0-1 pitch sent down the right field line, but hooking or slicing more and more foul, and it ends up going all the way out of play beyond the fence here. The 0-2 from Stevenson. Foul back into the screen, and it remains 0-2. I should point out that those jerseys for Dartmouth, one thing about wearing black jerseys on a day like today, those are going to be warm. They'll absorb that sunshine and absorb that heat. I'm sure they're made of a nice breathable material, but wearing black on this much of a sunny day, Como still in there battling, still down 0-2 in the count. Takes one high, and it's 1-2. As you can see, we're not sure if you can really tell, but there is a little bit of a breeze here in Sydney. The flag's moving just a little bit. As Como fouls off another one. Still 1-2 the count. Doing a great job fighting off these pitches from Stevenson, staying alive. Now grounds it down to McDougall. McDougall charging in at the ball, gets the throw away, and gets it across the bag in, or across the diamond in time. So no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Dartmouth continuing to lead it by a score of 2-0, excuse me. There we go. Due up in the bottom of the second, it'll be Grant Grady, Blake Gallagher, and Logan Gallant, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, left fielder, first baseman, and catcher, respectively. And again, a reminder that the winner of this game will be playing at 7:30 tonight for the national championship against the Windsor Stars. The team that comes up short in this game, they'll be turning around and getting right back on the field at 4 o'clock to face the Elmwood Giants. Windsor, the Ontario representatives, Elmwood from Manitoba. And it was interesting how the way the playoff bracket worked out. It really did work out as an East bracket and an Atlantic bracket and a rest of the country bracket, Central and West, as Dartmouth had to play St. John's from Newfoundland Labrador in the quarterfinal, while Elmwood played Kamloops, BC, in a quarterfinal. So on one side you had BC, BC, Manitoba, and Ontario on one side of the bracket for the playoffs, and the other side of the bracket was PEI, but they represent New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland Labrador, so the whole of Atlantic Canada. And so a little bit tongue-in-cheek that this is the Maritime Championship game, but also somewhat not tongue-in-cheek too. Grant Grady coming up to lead off the bottom of the second inning. And takes the first pitch. I think that missed low, ball 1. That one misses outside. 2-0. The delivery from Reeves misses again, and it's now a 3-0 count on the Islander left fielder. And ball 4, 4 straight pitches out of the zone, puts the leadoff runner on, or the leadoff batter, excuse me. That'll bring up Blake Gallagher. Gallagher, the first baseman. Swings and misses. So the count 0-1. We talked about the fact that the Islanders had not given up a run in this tournament until those 2 runs in the top of the first. And offensively, they scored 10 in the game against BC. They were only able to get 1 against Sydney, but it was enough to give them that victory, and then 5 over St. John's. So 16 runs scored over 3 games, averaging 5 1/3 runs per game. That one sent way up high into the air. Shallow left field near the line, but able to get over and get there in time to make the catch was Fader for the first out. That'll bring up Logan Gallant, the catcher. The Islanders, not the most potent offense at the tournament. There was a team that scored more, or there were a couple of teams that scored more runs than them in pool play, including Kamloops, who had 22 runs in their 3 games. And ironically, they beat Kamloops 10-0, and Kamloops still ended up with more runs overall through the tournament, partly because of a 16-14 wild game that Kamloops beat St. John's. Runner going, batter swinging, and the ball ends up out in center field, caught there, and the throw not in time, or not quite on line, rather. So getting back to the bag safely is Grant Grady, but it was a bit of an adventure. Josh Myers now will come up to bat for his first plate appearance of the day. Grady, after the leadoff walk, still at first base, but now 2 away. And a grounder up the middle, gets through for a base hit. Grady gets to second on the play. So that puts runners on first and second, with 2 away for Taylor Larkin, the number 9 hitter and center fielder. And a called first strike there to Larkin. And the move from Reeves draws Grady back to second base. That one fouled back into the screen, and the count now 0-2. So when it comes to runs in pool play, Ontario finished with 21, BC with their 22, that's the Kamloops Sun Devils. So Kamloops with their 22 runs, Windsor with 21, and Charlottetown with their 16 was third most as Larker goes down looking. No runs, one hit, no errors, 2 runners left on base. We'll head to the third with the score remaining: Dartmouth Mooseheads 2, Charlottetown Islanders 0. We do like to try and be a little bit interactive with our broadcasts here on Petter Sports and Streaming Services through AOTV. So send us a shout. You can do so either through Twitter or Facebook. Twitter feed is PetterPC_sports. And the Facebook page is facebook.com/PetterSports. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering for. If you want to send a shout out to a particular player, you can do that too. And this is also a way for you to correct any major mistakes that I'm making. If I'm mispronouncing a player's name or getting stats way wrong, please do let me know. Again, that's Twitter @PetterPC_sports. And the Facebook handle is facebook.com/PetterSports. And it's a question, a comment, whatever it is, you send it to me and I will respond to it here on air. Really do appreciate having you all along for the ride on this beautiful sunny Sunday. Wherever you're tuning in from, whether it be on the island, whether it be down in the HRM, or whether it be a little further afield. Cam Ritzie, the DH, will lead off here in the top of the third inning. He'll be followed by the top of the order, Cody Schreider, the center fielder, and Chris Thibodeau, the shortstop, to face Jordan Stevenson for his third inning. Ritzie swings through the first pitch. The count goes 0-1. 2 runs on 1 hit for Dartmouth. No runs on 2 hits so far for Charlottetown, and they committed 1 error that led to one of those 2 runs back in the first inning. Ritzie now has the count even, 1-1. Fouls that one off, and it's 1-2. Ritzie steps in and gets himself set for the 1-2 pitch. That one grounded right at McDougall. He's able to gather it in and get the ball across the diamond in time for the first out of the top of the third inning. That brings us back around to the top of the order. Cody Schreider reached on an error his first time up as he grounded to McDougall, but the throw from McDougall ended up just pulling Gallagher off the bag. And so Schreider was on first base for Ty Doucette's home run. Swing and a miss, and the count 0-1. Swing and a miss, and it's strike 2. 0-2 now the count. Schreider split his time between the mound and the plate in this tournament. He was actually the starting pitcher for Dartmouth in their opening game. Grounds to Cormier, who gets it over to Gallagher for the second out. That'll bring up Chris Thibodeau. That'll bring up Thibodeau, as mentioned, a fly out to center field. So Thibodeau steps in here with 2 out, nobody on, and takes the first pitch strike. 0-1. Stevenson has retired 7 in a row now since the 2-run home run by Doucette. who currently stands in the on-deck circle. And a grounder to short. McDougall across to first. No runs, no hits, no errors, no balls leave the infield. After 2.5, Dartmouth still leads it. The difference right now continues to be that 2-run home run by Doucette will go to the bottom of the third. Top of the order for the Islanders due up: Justin Cormier, Ryan McIsaac, and Logan McDougall. And just a quick reminder as well, folks, if you're watching this game outside today and you've got weather anything like we've got here, make sure you're staying hydrated, make sure you got the sunscreen on, the whole bit, because it is a warm one. I know it's a nice hot day here in Sydney. I assume, or I'm guessing, that the temperature's probably pretty similar through much of the region. So make sure you're staying sun safe and heat safe out there. So Justin Cormier coming up to lead things off here, bottom of the third. He led off the bottom of the first with a ground out to the second baseman McKinley. And this time a grounder right back to the pitcher, Reeves. Jeff Reeves able to run the ball over towards Doucette, and then just a soft toss underhand to get the out. So we're into the bottom of the third inning, and there's one out. There we go. Ryan McIsaac, he popped out to the first baseman Doucette, his first time up. First time through the order, the Islanders were able to get 3 runners on base, but all 3 of them ended up being stranded. Now on this second time through the order, it's 1 up, 1 down so far. That one hit hard, but off the end of the bat into foul territory, and the count goes to 1-1 on the left-handed hitting DH for the Islanders. McIsaac stands in, ready to see the next delivery from the right-handed throwing Reeves. And the pitch from Reeves misses high, 2-1. Not quite sure what the issue was there. Quick conversation between the catcher and the umpire. But now we're back ready to roll. That one misses inside. 3-1 now on McIsaac. And a called strike 2. The count runs full. As we play here in the bottom of the third inning, this game moving along at a very good pace. Both pitchers working quickly and efficiently, but there's a walk to McIsaac. That'll keep the streak going of the Islanders getting a base runner in every inning, but they haven't been able to convert yet. That'll bring up Logan McDougall. He is one of those guys who's reached base once so far. He singled with 2 out in the first. Ended up being stranded there after Mark Phillips struck out. That pitch misses down and away. Good job on the block there by Como. And the count is 1-0. Has got to give a big shout out and a thank you to my wife and camera person Karen, who stepped away from the camera for a little bit to go grab me some beverage, as it is, like I say, a warm day out there. So the third base camera stationary on home plate for now, but she's on her way back there. Don't worry, she'll get there to track any moving balls that get hit. Line shot right at Thibodeau, but McIsaac, good awareness on the base paths from McIsaac to make sure that he didn't get caught off of first base, was able to get back. So McIsaac still at first, now 2 away. Mark Phillips coming up. Phillips struck out his first time at the plate. Runner going, throw down to second in time as McIsaac is caught stealing for the third out. So the 1-out walk gets canceled out. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Phillips will have to come back to the plate in the bottom of the 4th. In the meantime, we've reached the end of 3, and Dartmouth continues to lead by a score of 2 to nothing. Due up, it is the man with the 2-run home run, Ty Doucette, scheduled to lead off. He'll be followed by Anthony McKinley and Colby Turple. And I'm just going to turn off my microphone for a second here, folks, so I can take a drink. Bear with me. That's the thing about those broadcasts on those fancy multi-million-dollar networks. For one thing, they take commercial breaks so that the play-by-play guy can grab a drink and nobody notices. They also have, multiple announcers in the booth, so if a guy needs to stop talking for a minute, he can turn off his mic and the other guy can just fill the space. A little bit more challenging when you're all alone in the booth. So I do appreciate your patience for things like stopping to grab a drink. And again, I do appreciate you just being here to watch these games. In all seriousness, if we didn't have all of you watching these games, we wouldn't have a job to do. So your presence much appreciated. Ty Doucette grounds it down to Cormier. Across to Gallagher for the first out of the inning. 1 pitch, 1 out. And Doucette, who had the 2-run home run, now is 1 for 2 on the day. There it is. That'll bring up Anthony McKinley. He bounced back to the pitcher his first time up. And it's now 9 in a row retired by Stevenson since that home run by Doucette. That one misses outside, ball 1. And out of those 9 in a row retired, no ball has left the infield. 2 strikeouts, 6 groundouts, and a liner to the shortstop. Nothing out of the infield since the home run. Stevenson has taken control. He's going to need some run support, though, as he is currently trailing 2-0. And down in the count to McKinley here, 2-1. But the right-hander, that one just misses inside, 3-1. The right-hander doing a great job here. That one catches the plate, and the count goes to 3-2 on McKinley. As the big, tall second baseman for Dartmouth stands in. The right-hander gets a hold of that one, and that one will get to the outfield, and that one will get over the wall in the outfield. It's a solo shot for McKinley, and Dartmouth extends their lead. It's now 3-0. Big blast by the big second baseman for Dartmouth. That'll bring up Colby Turple. He struck out his first time up. So Stevenson retires 9 in a row. However, that is sandwiched in between the only 2 hits he's given up, and those 2 hits combined for 3 runs on the 2 home runs. The 2-run shot by Doucette and then the solo shot by McKinley. Turple now up to bat and down in the count 0-2. Dartmouth now with 3 runs on 2 hits. The 3 runs coming from a player reaching base by an error and then 2 home runs. There's a called third strike, and that's the 3rd K of the afternoon for Stevenson. Second time he's caught Turple. The first time he got him swinging, this time he got him looking. Brings up Jalen Trider. He had a looping liner out to McDougall his first time up. That one sent out to right field. Coming in is Myers, and he will make the catch for out number 3. However, in between those 3 outs, there was 1 run on 1 big hit. No errors and nobody left on base. We've played 3.5, and Dartmouth now leads it 3-0. Due up in the bottom of the 4th, it will be Mark Phillips, Grant Grady, and Blake Gallagher. So we head to the 4th with Dartmouth leading it 3-0. And we talked about it earlier, this Charlottetown Islander team went through the round robin without giving up a run. And in this game, just 2 big hits, Doucette and McKinley, enough to have Charlottetown trailing, but they were the 3rd most potent offense for runs scored, or sorry, 4th. They had 16 runs. They were behind behind Kamloops with 22, Windsor with 21, and St. John's with 18. So they were the 4th most potent offense. That one sent out to center field almost directly at Schreider. And Schreider, after taking a couple of little steps towards right field, as he was shading that couple of steps towards left, and the ball ended up going almost to dead straightaway center. Schreider underneath makes the catch for the first out of the inning. That brings up Grant Grady. He walked his first time up. And before we get to Grady, we've got a bit of a conversation happening between the 3rd base coach for PEI and the 3rd base umpire. Not quite sure what that was all about, but whatever it is, we're back. And the first pitch to Grady is a strike. And the 0-1 misses outside. 1-1 the count. Brady, as mentioned, was able to reach base his first time with the walk. Takes outside, 2-1 on the PEI Islander left fielder. Again, I've seen the team referred to as the PEI Islanders. I've seen them referred to as the Charlottetown Islanders. Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. Charlottetown Islanders has a little bit more of a flow to it. PEI Islanders, not quite the same, but I know that's what's on the a lot of the social media for the Islander team. Softly down to Trider at third, the throw across, and Doucette just able to keep his foot on the bag. Ty Doucette has saved his fellow infielders a few times this week with his ability to stretch and keep that foot on the bag. And we saw another example of it right there. Blake Gallagher coming up to the plate now. He flew out to Fader his first time up. Takes the first pitch high and outside, ball one. Again, the winner of this game will advance to the 7:30 game tonight, the championship game against the Windsor Stars. The team that loses this game will take on the Elmwood Giants for the bronze medal. Scheduled for a 4 o'clock first pitch for that one. That one misses outside, 2-1. Dartmouth right now feeling like they've got all the momentum on their side with 2 wins yesterday, one to stay alive, or both of them with their tournament lives on the line. As if they had lost that game to Edmonton, they would have finished 0-3 in pool play and been eliminated. So that was an elimination game for them. And then the quarterfinal, of course, was an elimination game. They win that 3-0. So they've played for their tournament lives twice already and survived. For Charlottetown, they went through pool play never even trailing in a game, never even giving up a run in a game. And so they're playing from behind first time all tournament. So you got to feel the momentum right now fully with the men in black. Make your own reference to Will Smith there. There's a grounder to Trider, a little bit of an awkward play to gather it in, but he gets the throw across, and another nice stretch by Doucette for the third out of the inning. Ty Doucette at first base has made some fantastic grabs on throws from across the infield. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We've played 4. We'll head to the 5th with Dartmouth leading it, still 3-0. Due up in the top of the 5th for the Mooseheads, it'll be Jack Fader, Dan Como, and Cam Ritzy. And if anybody gets on, it swings back around to the top of the order for Cody Schreider. And want to again thank everybody for tuning in wherever you're watching from. We really do appreciate having you along for the ride. And those of you who are here in attendance watching and enjoying the game, like that young man, we've seen him here all weekend long. A big Sydney Sooners supporter who's been at all of the games, still enjoying his weekend of baseball. Haven't had a chance to talk to him, but I've talked to several of the people around that young man right in the middle of your screen. A great young guy, absolutely loves his Sydney Sooners. So good to see him out here enjoying some ball, even though the Sooners didn't quite have the weekend they were hoping for. They ended up going 0-3 and bowing out after the pool play. Let's head to the top of the 5th. Jack Fader will lead things off. He's 0 for 1. Struck out his first time up. And he'll face Jordan Stevenson, still out there doing a great job. That pitch misses inside, 0-1. Okay, if I were to just say these parts of his line, you'd think it was fantastic. 2 hits, 4 innings, 2 hits. Now 4 1/3 innings after Gallagher makes a nice play to knock that ball down. And getting over to cover first is Stevenson for the first out. So 4 1/3 innings, 2 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. You look at that part of the line and you think, hey, that's great. Unfortunately for Stevenson, the 2 hits have both been home runs, and therefore he's given up 3 runs, 2 of them earned. That one skied up high into the air. Will it stay in play behind the backstop? It will. And Gallant makes a great catch. Not sure. I'm sure Karen got the play on her camera. Unfortunately, our stationary cameras behind home plate here, that was blocked by the officials' tent. So I hope you guys were able to see that play. Cam Ritzie now steps up. He's 0 for 1. So, and the 0-1 count. Now 0-2. As Stevenson continues to throw strikes, continues to have most of the Dartmouth hitters on their heels. Just 2 mistakes. That one fouled off. Have led to the 2 hits. Only 4 balls have left the infield. One of them a fly ball to center, one a fly ball to right, and then the 2 home runs. And there's a called 3rd strike, 4th strikeout for Stevenson. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We'll go to the bottom of 5. It's still 3-0. And now the Islanders need to find a way to get some runs to support the great pitching effort from Jordan Stevenson. And it's going to be up to the bottom of the order, 7, 8, and 9, Logan Gallant, Josh Myers, and Taylor Larkin, to try and start a rally here in the bottom of the 5th. They do still have 3 innings left to work with, but the way Reeves has been pitching so far, Reeves, his line, no runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. So a great line for him as well. But the big difference again, the 2 hits that Dartmouth has both ended up going over the fence. The 2 hits that Charlottetown has have both been singles. As Logan Gallant gets ready to step in to start the bottom of the 5th inning, Gallant flew out to center his first time up. As this game just flying right along, we're in the bottom of the 5th inning, and first pitch was about 58 minutes ago. As much as I love watching Major League Baseball, that's one thing about the game at that level. You'd never see a game go this quickly. And first pitch swinging, Gallant will send it right out to center and get the Islanders' 3rd hit of the game, their 3rd single. That'll bring up Josh Myers. He has one of those 3 hits in his only other plate appearance. So Myers 1 for 1 with a single. He ended up getting stranded at first base. That was part of the second inning, the only time that the Islanders have had 2 on base in the same inning. As this pitching duel between Reeves and Stevenson continues. Reeves gets Myers to chase one there, and the count goes 0-1. The 0-1 pitch coming from Reeves. Curveball in for a strike, and the count 0-2. Neither of these pitchers have faced more than 5 batters in an inning in this game. An absolute great performance from both Reeves and Stevenson. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and that's the 3rd K for Reeves this afternoon. That'll bring up Taylor Larkin. He was one of those 3 strikeout victims. So Larkin steps in with 1 away, and Gallant at first base. First pitch misses inside, ball 1. That one misses as well, and the count goes 2-0.
Don't push our catcher. Don't put your hands on him.
As we got a meeting at the mound here. Como and Reeves want to talk things over, make sure they're on the same page with the 2-0 count to the Islander center fielder. The left-hander steps in. That one grounded down to McKinley. Flip over to Thibodeau for 1. Across to Doucette in time. The 4-6-3 double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base. We'll go to the 6th. Dartmouth still leading it 3-0. As the pitching duel continues between Dartmouth and Charlottetown, Jeff Reeves for Dartmouth currently ahead 3-0 against Jordan Stevenson of the Islanders, and it looks like we've got a pitching change as there's a left-hander out there now for the Islanders. And I believe that's Jay Johnson. It is indeed Jay Johnson. So Stevenson's day is done. And it's unfortunate for Stevenson. Again, you take away the fact that the 2 hits were both home runs. He gave up 3 runs on 2 hits. Only 2 of the runs were earned. No walks. 4 strikeouts, and just a great line for Jordan Stevenson. But unfortunately for him, right now he stands as the pitcher of record if they end up not coming back. Cody Schreider will lead off the 6th. He's 0 for 2, reached on an error and scored the unearned run out of the 3 runs that Dartmouth has. he also grounded out to second. So here comes Schreider. Fouls off the first pitch into the unprotected hand of Gallant behind the plate. And Logan Gallant, I think it caught him in the hand. Wherever it caught him, though, it was not pleasant. I don't think my microphone picked it up, but I certainly heard his displeasure with how that felt. So just taking a moment to walk it off, and he'll be all right. He gives a little thumbs up to Schreider. Say, yeah, I'm good. Ready to keep going. And that's the thing about this game, you know. Guys will sometimes take bumps and bruises and whatnot, but they never hold any ill will towards the guy who inadvertently causes it, like Schreider did with that foul ball. You know, a guy makes a nice, clean, hard slide into a bag, and maybe players collide, and it's respect for the game and respect for each other. And there's the first hit of the ball game that's not a home run for Dartmouth. A leadoff single puts Schreider on first base, and that'll bring up Chris Thibodeau. He's 0 for 3. Fly out to center and a ground out to short. His 2 previous at-bats. As Dartmouth looks to add a little bit more insurance here in the top of the 6th inning. Trying to book a spot in the championship game against Windsor at 7:30 tonight. That pitch misses down, ball 1. Jay Johnson, who had a stellar pitching performance in the game against Sydney. He threw a complete game shutout, a 5-hit shutout, where he struck out 9 and did not walk a single batter. Or sorry, he walked 1. 5 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts in a complete game victory over Sydney back on Friday night. That one fouled off by Thibodeau, and the count goes to 2-2. So Jay Johnson pitching on just 1 day's rest. I didn't see the line score for yesterday's game for Charlottetown against Edmonton, or against St. John's, excuse me. Another one fouled off, and that one goes off the helmet of Gallant, and he's going to start needing some danger pay back there. There are certain positions in sport that should come with, they already do come with extra gear. They should also come with extra insurance, that being a goalie in hockey, a catcher in baseball. That one sent back to Johnson. He'll get down to get the lead runner, but not in time, as the ball, I don't know if the throw was late or if the ball just wasn't squeezed by Cormier, as the slide by Schreider broke it up. And Cormier a little bit shaken up on that slide. And coach coming out to have a chat with him and make sure he's okay as he goes to walk it off. Sorry, that's Cormier going to walk it off. He's going to stay out there. And we'll wait to see how the scorer calls that. I believe Thibodeau will reach on a fielder's choice. And then whether they call it an error or not. Meantime, that'll bring up Ty Doucette. He has the 2-run home run back in the first. He also grounded out in the fourth. And Doucette hits that one on a laser beam out to right. Coming around to score is Schreider. Heading all the way around to third is Thibodeau. Yeah, so no error on that previous play. Thibodeau reaches on the fielder's choice. Then Doucette with the RBI single. He's now got 3 runs batted in this game. And the score is now 4-0. Runners are on first and third. And there's still nobody out here in the 6th as Johnson has allowed the first 3 batters he's seen to reach base. McKinley, who grounded back to the pitcher and hit a solo home run in the 4th, so he's 1 for 2. Stands in. He's down in the count now, 0-1, but as I was saying, down in the count, the second pitch was delivered and it missed for a ball, so 1-1. 4-0 now in favor of the Dartmouth Mooseheads. Charlottetown's going to need to find a way to score 4 runs between the 6th and 7th innings. And now it's going to be 5 runs is the deficit. As an RBI single for McKinley, and that's 2 batted in for him this afternoon. Doucette gets second base on the play. That'll bring up Colby Turple. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. And Johnson getting a little bit of a chat from the coach as the first 4 batters that he's faced have reached base. I gave you the line from his game on Friday night. 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, just 5 hits, no runs, just 1 walk. But coming back on just 1 day's rest, maybe not enough time for Johnson to recover. That one catches the zone for a strike. That's the challenge about an event like this when your team has to play for the Islanders. This is their 4th game. For Dartmouth, this is their 5th game in 4 days. You know, it's always a bit of a challenge to make sure you've got enough pitching and your pitchers are able to keep their arms ready to go. And you know, it's easy for me to say things like this as a guy who could never be a pitcher and is sitting up here in the comfort of a broadcast booth. For me to, you know, say stuff about a pitcher and the fatigue in his arm after the great performance he had on Friday, I could certainly not do anything like that. Here comes the 1-2 now. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, so Turple goes down swinging. His 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. That'll bring up Jalen Trider. That's the 5th strikeout overall by Islander pitching. And first for Johnson on the afternoon. His 10th strikeout of the tournament. Grounder down to Phillips. He'll knock it down. And it's going to be a forced play anyway, so Phillips will just come over and tag Doucette. Doucette waits long enough to make sure that the other two runners can reach their next stations. So Trider reaches on the fielder's choice, 5 unassisted, as Phillips knocked the ball down and then went over to make the tag on Doucette. That'll bring up Jack Fader. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. And he takes a first pitch strike as there's now 2 on and 2 away here in the top of the 6th. But the Islanders now trailing it by 5, 2 runs in this inning, making it a 5-0 scoreline for Dartmouth, making the hill that much bigger for the Islanders to try and climb. And that one might add to it, deep into left or right center field, but it will hold up and stay in the park for Larkin to get to. 2 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors and 2 runners left on base. After the top of the 5th, Dartmouth leads it 5-0 heading into the bottom of the 6th. Charlottetown needs 5 runs over the next 2 innings to try and tie up this ball game. And it's going to be the top of the order that starts it off in the bottom of the 6th, with Justin Cormier, Ryan McIsaac, and Logan McDougall to face Jeff Reeves back out there for his 6th inning of work. Reeves 5 innings so far of shutout baseball. And if you had told me on Friday night after Dartmouth had dropped to 0-2 that they'd be 6 outs away from playing in the championship game later tonight, I would have thought you were maybe being a little bit optimistic. But that's exactly what the Mooseheads have done after 2 wins yesterday, 1 to get into the playoffs, and then 1 in the quarterfinals, twice on the verge of elimination. They needed that win yesterday morning to stay alive. They needed to win their quarterfinal, obviously, to stay alive. They've done that. And now here in the semifinal, Dartmouth leads at 5-0. Justin Cormier leads off. He's 0 for 2, a ground out to second and a ground out back to Reeves on the mound. Gets ahead in the count, 1-0 here. Takes another one inside, ball 2, 2-0. There's a strike on the outer half of the plate, and the count goes 2-1. As Cormier, the second baseman, stands in on the left side. That pitch misses high, 3-1. Three hits so far for the Islanders, to go with 2 walks. However, of the 5 base runners that they've had, 2 of them have been put out on the base paths. 1 was caught stealing. That was Ryan McIsaac. And 1 was canceled out on a double play. That was Logan Gallant last inning. So the Islanders have just faced 3, or have just brought up 3 over the minimum. Now they'll get another base runner in Justin Cormier with the leadoff walk. That'll bring up Ryan McIsaac, he's 0 for 1. Popped out to first his first time up, walked in the third, and then was that caught stealing that I just mentioned. Takes a first pitch strike here. So Jeff Reeves, as I mentioned, has just faced 3 over the minimum coming into this 6th inning. He's given up 3 hits and 2 walks. Another called strike, and the count now 0-2. Cormier with a good lead at first, gets a good secondary lead, but the ball over to Trider. Trider gets handcuffed by it, and that's going to allow everybody to be safe. And is this the beginning of the rally that the Islanders need? That brings up Logan McDougall. He singled in the first, lined out in the third, and that is an E5 on that play. So a walk and an error puts 2 on with nobody out. And you got to think, for the Islanders trailing by 5, and this being the second to last inning, they have to take advantage of this opportunity with at least 2 or 3 runs with 2 on and nobody out if they want to finish or get a comeback and force extras or come back to win. Grounder down to third. This time Trider will take it over to the bag himself, and that will be the first out of the inning. So Cormier is retired on the fielder's choice. McDougall reaches on the fielder's choice, 5 unassisted. That brings up Mark Phillips with runners on first and second and now 1 out. Phillips 0 for 2 on the day. He struck out in the first, flew out to center in the fourth. As Reeves takes a look back at first, now he'll deliver. First pitch misses low, ball 1. The Elmwood Giants waiting for the 4 o'clock game against whichever team loses this one. That'll be for the bronze medal. The Windsor Stars waiting to see whom they will face for the championship, the gold medal, coming up at 7:30. If this score holds, it'll be a rematch of a pool play game between Windsor and Dartmouth. And if Charlottetown is able to come back, then it'll be the 2 pool winners. That one bounced right back to Reeves. He gets it over to first for 1, or to second for 1, to first in time. The 1-6-3 double play finishes off the inning. So no runs, no hits, 1 error, but only 1 runner left on base. We'll head to the top of the 7th. Dartmouth leading it by 5. And now Dartmouth with a chance to put more insurance out there. They've got 5 runs on 5 hits compared to no runs on 3 hits for the Islanders. And due up in the top of the 7th for Dartmouth as they try to add to their lead. It'll be Dan Comeau, Cam Ritzie, and then back around to the top of the order for Cody Schreider. 2 runs in the first, 1 in the fourth, 2 more in the 6th for the Dartmouth Mooseheads. The 2 runs in the first, a 2-run home run by Ty Doucette. The 1 run in the fourth was the solo shot by Anthony McKinley. And then the 2 runs in the 6th inning, part of the first 4 batters reaching base. One on a fielder's choice that did not result in an out. It was not an error on the play. It just didn't quite connect. So here comes Dan Comeau. He's 0 for 2. Ground out in the second, pop out to the catcher in foul territory in the fifth. There's a first pitch strike on Comeau. So here's the 0-1 now from Johnson in his second inning of work. And Comeau will get to first with the single out to left field. And that will bring up the DH, Cam Ritzie. Ritzie grounded out to short in the third, struck out in the fifth. One of 4 strikeout victims for Jordan Stevenson. One of 5 strikeout victims overall for PEI pitch or for Islander pitching. And there's a first pitch strike and the count 0-1. Cody Schreider, the leadoff batter in the on-deck circle. Swing and a miss. And the count 0-2. That may have been a foul. No, it was just strike 2 swinging. As Ritzie takes that one inside, 1-2. A little bit of cloud starting to form here in Sydney, but it's all the fluffy white clouds, so we'll take that. Enough to get in the way of the sun a little bit and cool things off. We'll appreciate that. Time asked for by Ritzie and granted. And the little bit of breeze we got going, helping to try and knock down some of the heat. It is a warm one here today. That one misses outside. 2-2 the count. Two balls, 2 strikes. As Johnson out there trying to keep his team in striking distance. That one fouled off the hands of Ritzie and up over the bleachers on the first base side. Here comes another 2-2 offering. Another one fouled off. Out of play, first base side. So the count's still 2-2. $5-0 lead for the Nova Scotia representatives. That one grounded to third. Phillips over to Cormier for 1. And they'll only be able to get the lead runner. That'll put Ritzie at first with 1 away for Cody Schreider. Schreider is 1 for 3. But he's 1 for 3, but he scored twice because he reached on an error in the first inning. So 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored for the center fielder. And I was talking to the Dartmouth coaches prior to the game, and it looks like Schreider, who pitched the game against Elmwood on Thursday, may be penciled in to pitch the championship game. There's a grounder right to the second baseman, Cormier, who his first step brought him right onto the bag anyway. So a 4-3 double play as Cormier brought the ball right to the bag, and then as he stepped off, got the throw across to Gallagher for the second out. So no runs, 1 hit no errors and nobody left on base. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. The Charlottetown Islanders need 5 to extend it, 6 to win it. And it's going to be up to the 5, 6, and 7 hitters to get the rally going. Grant Grady, Blake Gallagher, and Logan Gallant. And if anyone gets on, then Josh Myers will be needed to keep it going. And it looks like it is going to be Jeff Reeves out there to try and finish off the complete game. Dartmouth started the weekend 0-2. Tough loss in their opener, a very close game against St. John's. A very close game against Elmwood. No score all the way into the bottom of the 7th inning, 2 out, and then a walk-off home run to drop Nova Scotia champions Dartmouth to 0-1. Then the next day, they come out, they have another hard-fought, close ball game against Windsor. They drop that one 5-3. They go into Saturday morning 0-2, their life on the line. They get a 5-1 victory over the Edmonton Cubs. They come back later that night. They had 11 hours between the start times of their games as well. They played at 9:30 in the morning. They had a long time to wait around before they got into their game at 8:35. It was originally scheduled for an 8 o'clock start, but it ran late because the other quarterfinal game before them ran 11 innings. That pitch misses, ball 1 to Grant Grady. So they didn't get off the field until after 10 o'clock last night. There's a grounder down to short, gathered up by Thibodeau across the diamond in time. 1 up, 1 down, and the Islanders are down to their last 2 outs. That'll bring up Blake Gallagher. He's 0 for 2. So can Dartmouth finish the climb all the way to the championship game from an 0-2 start? They are 2 outs away from doing exactly that. First pitch to Gallagher, misses high and inside, ball 1. The Islanders went through the round robin without giving up a single run. But today, Dartmouth was able to find ways to score runs, and the way they found it was by putting the ball over the fence. 2 home runs from Ty Doucette and Anthony McKinley, as well as an extended rally to score 2 runs in the 6th. The difference in this ball game right now. That one grounded to Thibodeau. He'll gather it up, throw across the diamond in time. 2 up, 2 down, and the last chance will be the catcher, Logan Gallant. He's 1 for 2, has one of just 3 hits for the Islanders so far this afternoon. Will it be Windsor versus Dartmouth in the national championship game? They are 1 out away from doing it. And a first pitch breaking ball for a strike over the inside corner. It's 0-1. Logan Gallant, 1 for 2, flew out in the 2nd, singled to lead off the 5th. That one misses outside, 1-1. Jeff Reeves, so far today, has given up just 3 hits. He's given up just 2 walks. That one skied into shallow right field. Back to get it and make the catch is Ty Doucette, and Dartmouth is going to the finals. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. The final score, Dartmouth Mooseheads 5, Charlottetown Islanders 0. The bronze medal game at 4 o'clock will be Charlottetown versus Elmwood. The gold medal game at 7:30, Dartmouth versus Windsor. Until we come back for that bronze medal game about 90 minutes from now, this is Michael Petter on behalf of Dixon Cho, Jeff Porter, and my fantastic camera woman Karen, my lovely wife, saying I just about did my hockey sign off. May your pitches hit the corners, and may your liners clear the fence. The final score once again, Dartmouth 5, Charlottetown 0. We'll be back with the bronze medal game in about 90 minutes.